Wanjiro from Kenya to Japan, and I'm so excited to be back with another video. Now, this video is for you, it's for me, and it's for everyone who is looking to travel abroad for work, for school. This video is for you. Now, come closer, grab a cup of tea, pull the stool because we need to talk about something. Now, we need to talk about mental wellness. Yes, mental health. Because when you leave your home country, you leave your family, you leave your people, you leave your everything familiar to you, you come abroad to school or to work. Indeed, that will have an impact on your mental health. Now, in this video for today, I want to just open your eyes to how your mental health may be affected by moving abroad. Okay, then the next video I'm going to talk about how can you best prepare yourself and what are the things you need to do or to adopt or stop doing or start doing to better your mental health, and especially to be in a good mental health space and to maintain it while you work or study abroad. Okay, so that's our topic for today: abroad and mental health. Yes. Okay, why am I talking about this? Because guys, we're always so excited to move, to travel abroad. We are always so excited to move abroad. We are, oh yes, excited. And the excitement can actually be too much that we forget to think about, what you're going to find when you move abroad. An example, myself, also excited to, travel and come to Japan and, the new life. Well, luckily for me, it was not my first time traveling abroad. So I kind of just had an idea of how it's going to be. Yeah, so I was kind of somehow prepared, yeah, of what this means. So, but most of the time people really don't think about what does it mean, me leaving home, leaving what's familiar and moving abroad. Okay, now once you get a job, once you get that scholarship and you're now eventually moving abroad, there are things that you will face that will definitely affect you. Okay, you're going to face different people, different culture, new environment, different food, different weather. Yes, like now the summer here has been hot. I thought Kenya was hot, but it was so hot here this summer. I remember one day I was sweating. I didn't have AC in my house. I was sweating at night. I was literally dripping with sweat and I was so scared. I was like, ooh, I hope I don't get heat stroke. Yeah. So, and I had to eventually go to an AC and I'm good. But of course that scared me, right? And of course I was like, wow, you mean it can get like overly hot like this? So of course these little things, again, there's culture shock. So these things really do affect your mental health. But what I say is your mental health can be affected even when you're living in your house where you are so loved. Your mental health can be affected when you're in your happy place. So any place you are, your mental health can be affected. But what we need to realize is we need to be aware of things that affect our mental health, and we need to find ways to cope. Okay, and we can also adopt. There are things we can adopt and make them our daily routine that help us to better our mental health. Now, let's talk about some of the things that might affect your mental health while you move abroad. Number one is loneliness. Yes, loneliness will catch up with you. This means that you've left your home, you've left your family, you've left your friends, you've left your community, and you've plucked yourself from there, and you've now come to a place that's not familiar with you. Different food, different culture, different people, different environment. Everything is basically new and different to you. Okay, now there are people who are okay with change, but there are people who struggle with change. So you've got to know how you deal with change. So because some people get really affected by that, you come to this place, you know nobody. I came to Japan. I have neighbors in my apartment, but they don't speak Japanese. Yeah, you know, I remember one time my lights went off and I didn't know. I was like, what happened? What happened? Because I know, you know, my neighbors have lights and I'm like, something was so wrong. And I tried talking to my neighbor. She couldn't understand me. She speaks Japanese, you know, and all I can say is, semimasen, semimasen, you know. And yeah, we couldn't really understand each other. So, of course, these are things that affect you. So, and of course, loneliness catches up with you because you miss home, you miss what's familiar with you. The weekend comes and you miss, you know, what you used to do on the weekend. You definitely feel lonely because you're not seeing your family. And of course, they're miles and miles and miles away. You can't just travel, go and see them. So that is one of the things you're going to face when you come abroad. Number two thing you're going to face is you're going to struggle to fit and adapt. Yeah, of course, like I said, you come from a familiar environment. You're now coming to this new environment. You're trying to find out, what do I do on Saturday? What do I do with my Sunday? What do I do with my after work? You know, because most of the time it becomes you go to work, come back home, go to work, come back home, and you're like, okay, what do I do? What do I do next? You know, just trying to fit into the schedule, even your own work, trying to fit into the workspace and how things run and how things work, that can take a toll on your mental health. The other thing, number three, is the culture shock. Whew. This is a reality wherever you go. Culture shock. You come from Kenya, you're used to, you know, we have a different culture, we have a different way of doing our own things. You come to a different place, they have their own way of doing things, they have their culture, they have their everything. That can take a toll on your mental health. An example is when I came to Japan. Japan is very keen on paperwork. Yeah, they're too much with their paper. Okay, let me not say too much, but paperwork is a lot. And you know, I kind of just love Kenya and the way we use M-Pesa, because if I want to do a transaction, I can do it from my phone. But Japan, online transactions are not really. Mostly they use cash. So, and you know, so you basically have to use cash again. Paperwork. I remember I had to go to City Hall and they need a lot of documents, they need a lot of things, a lot of paperwork to fill in, and some of those things you're actually filling in the same things. And that was just one thing, to get my residency card, to get I don't know what bank. I remember feeling, when I was opening my bank account, I had to fill so many pages, and I was like, do I really need to do this? So many pages. Yeah, so that's, anyway, that's one of the things that kind of was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to, you know, feel too much paperwork and all that. And of course, getting bills, you get your mailbox, you get so many mails, water bills and all that, and all those bills. So you always get a mail. And I'm like, Kenya, I used to just pay everything by M-Pesa, my phone. I just get a message, oh, this is your bill. And so there's that. Of course, the other culture shock is, of course, using the train. I'm coming from Nairobi, where we really don't use buses. And here I have to use the train, and then timekeeping. You have to be on time. If you not on time, you miss a train, and that means getting late. So the first time I came here, I used to literally be running to the train station because it's 5 minutes, and I guess get to the train and I'm panting, and I missed a lot of those trains. There are times I sat at the train station and I just wanted to cry because I have missed the train every other time. I have had to learn the hard way to keep time, and also to check my Google Maps and to know the train schedules. But I tell you, at first, it was a bit frustrating. But yeah, these are some of the things that really just you have to face. I'm not saying that you cannot overcome. Yeah, it's, you have to, adjust, learn, and find your way. The other thing that will probably affect you is adjusting to different work culture. Yes, the places you go, every country has their own, it has its own work culture, and it's really important to understand the work culture. The work culture is from dress code, and you know, how you're supposed to dress, how you actually, because in Japan you're supposed to really dress, you know, don't show off anything. Yeah, especially as a lady, you have to cover up everything. You're not supposed to have a tattoo. If you have a tattoo, you have to really cover it. You have to be decent, yeah, dress decently, you know, you should not show your knees, make sure you're nicely dressed. And basically some of these things do affect, of course, the work hours, because again, my work hours are different. I work afternoon to later, so there's that. So work culture, anyway, every work culture is different in every part you work, so it's very good to understand the work culture and be able to adjust well. The other thing is of course, distance from home. Sometimes there are days you're gonna miss home. There are days you're going to miss home. And when you think about how you came 32 hours flying, and you're like, yeah. And of course, sometimes it's thinking, oh, when will I ever go back home? Sometimes you're not sure where you're gonna go, or probably it's gonna be some years before you go back home. Of course, that's going to really, yeah, there are days you cry honestly because you miss home, and you're like, oh, yeah. There are those moments. They're just those days when you're just missing home. Yeah, you love it here. You love what you're doing. You love the job, but of course, east or west, home is the best. So you're gonna have those moments where you just sit and miss home, think about the things you used to do and all that. Apart from missing home, the other thing is you're going to miss out on important events back at home. Again, when you come abroad, it means it's gonna really take a long time. You're not able to, you know, keep going back and forth for a lot of time. So that means that events you'll have to forego. Events like yeah, important events like weddings, maybe of special people. Sometimes you also miss out on burials when people pass and you're not able to make it back home. You know, baby showers, birthdays, and all that, birthdays of special people and all that. So yeah, you're gonna miss out on all those things. So my son is graduating from PP2 and he's going to grade 1, and I'm gonna miss out on that. So of course that makes me feel bad, and I'm like, oh gosh, I should be there for my son. Yeah, so those things, they really just affect you. But you know, when you know that you're gonna be together at some point, and you know, sometimes you do this, you know, for our families and for our children, so you just keep going. Yeah, you encourage yourself and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna keep going. So yeah, so those are some of the things that affect your mental health. The other thing is yeah, missing out on special events and losing touch with friends. So if you're a social person and you have many friends, I have many friends, and honestly, keeping in touch with all the friends is sometimes is not easy, because you want to really keep in touch, but sometimes the time difference, you know, when they're sleeping, you're awake, you're at work. When you're probably available, they're working on the other side. So sometimes this whole thing it just makes you lose touch. But I always say that, you know, those friends who matter, they always reach out. And actually, I love to say this, because friends who are back home, like Kenya, they think, oh, people go abroad and you know, you become proud, you never talk to us again. But it's really important for you to also to reach out, because yeah, you're dealing with so much. When you come abroad, you're dealing with so much, you're adjusting, you're just actually taking everything in. And of course, sometimes you also try to, you know, look for friends here who so that you can have at least people to show you around and to hang out with sometimes. So it's not like people intentionally just decide they don't want your friendship now. No, it's the whole everything that you're going through to adjust. So it's very important, even for friends. Friendship is a two-way, so also keep in touch. And I really appreciate all my friends back in Kenya, because I have friends who really intentionally kept in touch. They'll call me, they'll check on me, they'll support me where I need help back at home. So I think that's really, really important. Now, so yeah, of course, losing touch with friends. Probably you had friends, you're a social person, and now the friends are becoming quiet by each day. So that really sure does affect your mental health. Now, and the other thing is changes in weather. Now, for those of us who come from Kenya and we have never experienced winter, the good thing about Africa, we have such good weather. Kenya, let me speak for my country, Kenya. We have such good weather because we don't have the extreme, yeah, we don't have extreme cold or extreme hot. So we kind of have really good weather. So, but when you come abroad and you have to deal with the four seasons, summer, winter, autumn, spring, especially I have not really experienced the winter and snow. So, my colleagues keep telling me, this December it's gonna be snowing. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I don't know how that's gonna be. But of course, I remember I was talking to another teacher and he was telling me, oh, Joy, the winter is crazy. So yeah, of course, that definitely will affect your mental health, because you're adjusting, your body is also adjusting to new environment, new weather. So definitely that's likely to affect you. And of course, making new friends, making new friends also here, it can be you don't know, you're trying to adjust to know the people, you're trying to find new friends here. It can be, yeah, definitely that can affect your mental health. Now, so these are some of the things. And of course, the language, yeah, they speak, like here in Japan we speak a different language. I speak English, I don't speak Japanese, and I teach students who don't speak English. They're learning. My neighbors don't speak English. When you go to shopping, everything is in Japanese. Yeah, like I remember there's a time I went to look for something in a supermarket, and I just was just going round and round, and I was like, oh my gosh, where is everything? But yeah, but I was pretty new. But of course, with time, I had to learn, find my way. So yeah, I've talked about new food also. There are people who come here and the food here affects them. And it's totally different food. Yeah, it's different food, actually different. Even rice, I was like, oh my gosh, the rice here, I don't like it. It's sticky, and but I'm used to, like, rice we have in Kenya is really nice, and the ones we have here is different. And of course, you also have to adjust to the pricing of everything, because things are expensive here. So all these things, they really take a toll on you. And of course, yeah, making new friends, and also sometimes feeling unsettled and feeling like you're missing out. And of course, if you come abroad alone, there are days you feel like, oh, how long am I gonna be here? Well, will I get married? And we see back home people are getting married. So all these things are things that affect your mental health. But there are ways of preparing yourself, first of all, before you leave home, and dealing with them, so that you can better cope and better settle abroad. Now, these are things we'll talk about in the next video. We'll look at solutions. How can we best prepare ourselves, and how can we best adjust? Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. And if you're in a bad mental health space and you're abroad, I'm here and happy to talk. Please do take care.